Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. I have 7 books, one more than I usually have. And I'm going to get right into it with doing the 3 books that really weren't my favorites for this. And the first book, it wasn't my favorite book just because it wasn't just because it was a biography. It was because, well, it's not that, but like I said before in my book review videos, I'm going to put a biography or autobiography in my book review video until they're all gone because I have a ton of them. And this one I know, okay, I don't have a biography, so I have to read one. So the reason why I liked the person the biography was about or autobiography or whatever, but I don't like the person who wrote it. And I think it was like 2 or 3 book review videos ago I did the same author, and she has three autobiographies, because an autobiography I think is, I don't remember, but an autobiography she has 3 of these. They're like she redid these 3 biographies. So she did one on Elizabeth I, which I read and I did a book review video on. And this one, and then another one about, I think it was about Mary. Queen Mary, not Queen of Scots. Queen Mary, Henry VIII's daughter. So this one is Great Harry, and it's Henry VIII. And it's by Carolee Erickson, and this is what it looks like. And, I mean, everybody knows the one thing about Henry VIII is that he had, 6 wives, and he beheaded some of them. He divorced some of them. One, he widowed, stuff like that. But I felt like this book, because I read a lot of Henry VIII biographies, autobiographies, whatever you want to call them. And I felt like this one was going at a slow speed. I feel like it took a long time to get to all of the wives, and then I feel like the last half of the book she just raced through to put the last maybe 4 of them in. That's my opinion. And I don't like how the pictures in the book, usually, how when you do an autobiography or biography, there's always a picture selection part where those pages you look at the book and yeah, it has pictures in it. Well, these ones you can't tell, so you don't know where the pictures are in the book. And the pictures were in black and white. I really don't when they're in black and white, if they have to be in black and white, they have to be. But they really didn't have to be in black and white, these ones. To me, at least, it didn't seem like it. So, yeah. So, this one is, do you ever read a book where you read it, you read it, and then you're like, what in the world did I just read? Because you cannot say, oh, I read this book, and it was okay or bad or good or whatever. And then people are like, well, why didn't you like about it? I'm like, well, I don't remember what happened in it. This book, I read the whole thing, and it's called The Lantern, and I don't even remember where I got this book. I don't remember if I bought this book or if I got it at a book sale or a flea market or whatever. And it's by Deborah Lawrenson. I guess that's how you say her last name. And it's supposed to be, not exactly, but it's supposed to be kind of like the book Rebecca. And there is a part in the book that's towards the end of the book where it's kind of a little bit of how Rebecca ended. But that wasn't even close to the end of the book. There was I think it was 300 some pages in it. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out what happened in this book, because there was a ton of stuff that happened in the book, but it was they never really I felt got around to doing it. One was about this treasure that was supposed to be at this house, and they never found it, or they never really tried to look for it. And then there was this ghost in the book that was really weird that just like popped out of nowhere. And there was this woman who she met this guy, and this guy was married before, and nobody really talked about her, and he never did. He never wanted to talk about her sex life like that. So that's how kind of like Rebecca it is. But it just really wasn't good. I mean, it was one of those books where like I read it, but it's like, yeah, like I know it was about this guy who was married and met this other woman, and he was secretive about it. But that was really it. And another book that was just, this book was just okay. I have another one of these books, and this is called Snow White Red-Handed, a fairy tale fatal mystery by Maia Chance. I don't know if that's how you say her first name. And it's the first in the series. This is the first one. So it's about, what I can only say is, it's about these two women who are traveling to New York, I think, and they're on this boat because they really want to, go to New York and start their new life and stuff like that. And here, this person finds them, and, they go work for this woman who's like a widow and stuff, or not a widow, but her husband dies in the book, and then, these two women, plus the people that work in, like, the castle or whatever, like, kind of like a fairy tale kind of land, have to solve the mystery, and it ends up going to, turning to where they have to find Snow White, like, the fictional Snow White's burial place, and they have to find clues from there, which is really weird, because it never, they work in this, like, place that's supposed to be where, I think, the house, how, like, she goes to the house, and that's where the Seven Dwarfs live. I think it's, like, they work in the house where that was supposedly happened, but it was never a thing where they said, like, they're traveling through, like, this weird alternate universe to get to that, or anything like that, which was the weird thing. So it was, like, a really weird kind of book, in my opinion, to be honest, but I have another one of these. So the next one I want to talk about is, this book it's a 2-in-1 book, and it's like a series, it's like a trilogy, and it's the Debbie Macomber Navy Brides, and it's a 2-in-1 book. It's Navy Wife and Navy Blues, and this is what it looks like. And there's Navy Brides, Navy Grooms, and Navy... What's the other one? Navy Brides, Grooms, and Wives, I think. I think that's the other one. I think. And I have two of them. I don't have the other one. And this book was just okay. It kind of reminded me of her series about Cedar Cove. Cedar Cove is supposed to be like in the first couple books, there was a lot to do about, like, these wives whose husbands were in the Navy and stuff, and this is what this one's about. Navy Wife is about this woman who stays at her brother's house, and her brother's best friend works on this Navy ship, and he comes into town because there was a malfunction on his ship, and he lives in this house, and he, obviously, and then they have to share and stuff like that, share the room, the space and everything, and they fall in love with each other, and was it him? I don't remember which one it was. They wanted to get married before he left and went back on the ship, just in case something happened, or whatever, it would be better that way. And the Navy Blues was about her brothers, the girls from the first book, her brother's ex-wife, who she hit 30, she was divorced from her husband, this woman's brother, and she ends up wanting to have a baby because she's like, I'm 30, I'm not getting any younger. So she tricks him into having sex with her. She gets him, like, drunk at her holiday, at Christmas at her house and stuff like that, and he really is like, just because you have my baby doesn't mean I'm gonna fall back in love with you or whatever, blah blah blah. And it was a really, I felt like the second one, Navy Blues, was the better one than the first one, because the first one reminded me a lot of what she did in Cedar Cove. But that's just my opinion. This book is a sequel, and it's by Mitch Albom, and the prequel to this was The Five People You Meet in Heaven, and this is the next person you meet in heaven. And this is what it looks like. And it was basically kind of like how the first one went. It was about this girl who died, and then supposedly when you get to heaven, there's always five people that you meet. And they're always people that, like, you met in your life. Sometimes you know them, sometimes you don't. It was just like an occurrence you had with this one person. And then at the end, they were talking about how when you meet all your people, you're gonna be, it's all interconnected, so that when somebody else dies, you might be one of the five people for them, that kind of thing. And I like it. Like, I like his books, but this book was really, really sad. Like, I read it, and the one person she meets is her mother, and she explains about, how life was with their mother and her dad and stuff. And the one they were talking about, like, her mother, it, like, made me so, like, almost cried. That's how good this book was. And they might make this into another book, because I think they made The Five People You Meet in Heaven a book. I mean, a movie, not a book, a movie. So they'll probably make this one a movie, probably around, like, Easter time or something. But this book was really sad, and I felt really, really sad for the woman, because what happened was they got into this accident, and she just got married, and happened on her wedding day, and they went on this hot balloon ride, and her husband and the balloon guy got into this accident, and her husband was really, really injured. And all she wanted to do was find out if it helped, because he had to have a lung transplant, and she wanted to give him one of her lungs. And she didn't know what happened and everything, and it was so sad. And then at the end of the book, something like is that, like, you have to read the whole book to figure out what happened. Like, it's that good. So this one is one of the Guideposts publishing company books. This is a new series. I just found this at a local book sale that I just went to a couple weeks ago. And this is the Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries. It's called Platens Secrets, Plain and Simple by Elizabeth Ludwig. That's what it looks like. It's not, but what is weird about it is it's not really Amish. It's about Mennonites, kind of. And it's about this woman, and this isn't the first one in the series, because it's about this woman who, she gave up the English way of life to be with her husband, and they have a baby, and this guy that's with one of her friends in the book, something happens where he drops something in the store, and she can't believe it and stuff like that. I don't want to say what it is, because it gives away the whole premise of the book. So she's trying to figure out why her friend likes this bad boy guy that's not even Amish, he's an English person, and what or who dropped this, and what was the cause of stuff like that. And it had a really surprise ending in it. So I think if I find it, like, I'm kind of iffy on the fence. Like, I really liked it, but I felt like it was a long process. Like, it wasn't fast, and I have to get another one of these. If I ever find another one of these, I'm going to find one, and then I'm going to read it and see if I like it, and then I'll make a decision if I'm going to read the whole series or not. But this one was a really good book. And last but not least, it's the Debbie Macomber book, and it's called 8 Sandpaper Way. It's the 8th book in the Cedar Cove series, and this is what it looks like. And this is about this couple who the guy was, the husband was helping this elderly woman out, and she died. And they think that he's the one that stole her jewelry, because he was the one that was there when she died, or found her dead, or whatever. And she never told his wife this. and his wife thinks, oh, like he's sneaking around, he's not where he says he is, stuff like that, and he doesn't want to worry her about what's going on. And the other book, the other one, and he's a pastor, which is like the one thing that's like, you know, like taboo. You never think a pastor would do that. And the other one was about this woman whose mom died of MS, and she thinks she has MS, and she gets pregnant again the second time. The first time was a miscarriage, and her dad was with high school sweetheart after her mom died, and he said, you know, because my daughter's going through a mess, maybe I have to like not be with you because I want to be there for her. And then one of the main couples in the book, she found out some like devastating news, and she's trying to stay calm about it, but she's freaking out. And another woman, she's pregnant. The chess champion wife is pregnant, and I think it's like triplets. I think it was triplets. And he's freaking out because he's like, oh my gosh, you're having triplets. Like, I have to, you know, do all this stuff. And it was a really good book. Like, I really liked this one more so than the last one, the seventh one. So that's all the books I have for this video. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and see you guys next time with another video.